Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about how to use Router.Navigate method with replaceUrl. Okay, prior to this session, we talked about the skipLocationChange, but this time we are going to talk about the replaceUrl. So I'll explain you everything from scratch, like what is navigate router method, Router.Navigate method, how to use it with replaceUrl, and what are the benefit of using it. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being, we are just mainly focusing on how to use Angular Router.Navigate method with replaceUrl. Okay. Alright, so let's get started. And for the sequential session, you can refer the Tech Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. So from there, you can take the reference. Okay, fine. So let's move ahead. And now I'll show you some of the headings that like the title. So let me put one heading. One heading is already there. That is Angular 19 course by Tech Sharmit. Post that I will put H2, that is heading 2. And here I will write the topic name, that is Router.Navigate method with replaceUrl. Okay, Router.Navigate method with replaceUrl in Angular. So this is our today's topic. Now next, what we are going to do, we are going to put one horizontal row here that will help us to separate out these heading with the actual content. Okay, fine. Now to demonstrate this thing, what we will be doing, like firstly we need one component. So here you can see I have already created 3 components, that is about, contact and services. And for this example, I'm going to use only one component, that is about component. So if you expand this about component, you will find that these 4 files, that is about.component.css, about.component.html, about.component.spec.ts, and about.component.ts. So these are the 4 files that we will be using. Now, if you don't know how to create the component, the command is very simple. You just need to write here ng, which is for Angular, generate C component, and the name of the component, that is about. Okay, so you can simply press enter and it will create this component for you. I have already created, that's why I'm not running the command again. Now once the component is created, post that I just change only one thing in the about.component.html page, where I just replace the paragraph with heading and change the heading to about page. Okay, so this is the only thing. Rest all things are default in all files. Okay, all these files are set to default. Now component is ready, so it's time to define the path. Once path is defined, we will import the required thing. So to define the path, we will go to app.route.ts file. Here you can see we have this route array, so expand it, and here inside this we will use this curly braces to define the path. So go simply write here path. In path we can write about, okay, then a comma, then component, then a colon, and after that we will write here the component name, that is about component in this case. Okay, then you can put a comma again, then a curly braces. Here we will write path, colon, and then the name of second component. Although like we are not going to use this path, but still let me show you like how you can define the second one. So you can just define like this: contact, comma, component, and contact component. That's it. Then a comma. So this thing is ready. Now that means our path is configured. So it's time to import the things. So to import the thing, what you can do, you can simply go to app.component.ts file. Here in import section, you can simply write the name of the component that you want to, name of the thing that you want to import. So in our case, firstly we will import the router outlet, because that will help us to populate the output. Okay, so router outlet is added here. You can see it is imported also in the second line. Now once it is imported, post that what we are going to do, we are going to define the constructor. Okay, so just write here constructor. Inside this we will write here private, then we will put then we will write here a router in a then colon, and then the router. Okay, post that we will write like this. So this is a constructor. Let me remove this unnecessary space. Okay, so this thing is ready. That means now we can use the router.navigate method. So it will help us to use that method. Okay, so to use this method, like what we are going to do now, like we will create one function and method, you can say, and that method will be called by some button, and once it is called, it will take us to the next page and also change the router path, but will not add the history. Let me show you practically and then we will verify all these things. Okay, so let's expand it. Here you can write the method name, let's say go to about, then parenthesis, curly braces. Inside this we will write this dot router.navigate, this dot router.navigate. Inside this code you can write here about, okay, slash about, /about. Then you can write here a comma, and then inside a curly braces you can write the replace URL, and then a colon, and then true. Okay, now you can save it after a semicolon. So this thing is ready. That means now the function is ready and we can call it with the button. So to define that button, let's go to app.component.html file. Here we will define the button. So just write like this, button, press enter. Here we will write go to about, then we will write here click method. Inside this we will write here go to about, which is nothing but a method, and that is ready. Okay, so this thing is ready. That means go to about function we can call with this, but once the function is called, it will show the page, and to populate that page to see the output, we will write here router outlet. So you can just simply write here router outlet, router outlet. Okay, so this thing is ready. Fine, now let's verify this thing. So you can write here ng serve -- open, enter. So it will take few seconds, and then it will show you the output in the browser mode, and from there we can verify whether it is working perfectly or not. So we can see here we have one heading that shows Angular 19 course by Tech Sharmit. Then we have secondary heading that shows router.navigate method with replace URL in Angular, and then we have one horizontal row with a button. So once you click on that button, it will take you to the about page. The page is updated, the URL is also updated. Okay, and that's why like we have put this thing that is replace URL as true. So normally like when we are not using the replace URL, it changed the pages, it changed the URL, it added the history, and it also provide the back button. But when we are using the replace URL as true, it changed the pages, it changed the URL, but it will not it will not add the history. Instead, old one get replaced. Okay, and also back function as back button is not provided. So you can see here there's no back button. Okay, so this is how that's why like we use this replace URL. Now if you compare it with the skip change URL, so you can see skip change, right? We talked about in earlier session. So there what were happening, like the URL will not was not getting updated at that time, right? There we will just getting skip change location, yeah. So skip change location was displayed, but in URL you were not able to see the actual path. But in this case, in router.navigate method with replace URL is true, it will update the page that we can see here. Page is updated. Also it will update the URL, and we can easily see this also. Okay, so that is the only difference between both of these properties, I would say, like replace URL and a skip location change. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all for today. Like where we just discussed about how to use this router.navigate method with replace URL as true, what are the syntax and structure that we are supposed to follow, how we can build everything, what are the necessary imports. So these all things are discussed. In the next session we will talk about more such functionality. Meanwhile, you can do a practice for these all concept, and if you have any questions, queries, suggestions or feedback related to any of the session or the playlist, you can simply reach out to me through the comment section. I will try my best to help you out there, and if there is any feedback, I'll try to implement that too. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching Tech Channel.